Over the last 6 months, I've been on a mission to try to grow out my social media channels to help educate people about AI. And for 5 of those months, I have done it all manually, doing the research myself, coming up with the ideas myself, and then having to go post all of those manually. Well, I'm going to show you what I've been doing over the last month, which has cut my time in half and has also helped me see explosive growth. Now, what we're going to be talking about today is how to use Claude, and specifically Claude Skills, to help you grow your social media channel. Let's jump right in. Okay, so the very first thing here is we're going to just jump right into and talk about how to grow a skill to grow on your social media, to help you grow your social media accounts. And so if you're not familiar with Claude or Claude Skills, don't worry, I'm going to go over all of that in this video, but we are going to be specifically talking about using skills to be able to help you grow your social media. Now, what is a skill, and how is it any different from a prompt? Because a lot of times people might get these two things confused. A prompt is what we're used to. It's what we've been using with ChatGPT, and it's one instruction for one task. It's best for quick one-off outputs, and then you often have to rewrite it each time. Now, there's a point in AI when people were just creating these prompts and then they were giving them away, or they were selling them or selling lists of them. I am of the belief that prompts are sort of dying, and that's because we now have this thing called skills. Now, the difference between a prompt and a skill is something that you can call on every single time. So rather than having to have a huge prompt that you just have to go copy and paste, you can just say TikTok skill, and then it's going to know exactly what to do, similar to an AI agent, to go do something for you. And so right here, it's a saved workflow with clean instructions. So I like to explain it kind of like an SOP guide. It's being able to go tell your AI what you're wanting it to do. It's built so that it can be repeatable and it has consistent results. And so because there's the step-by-step, it's going to give you results every time. And then it can include things like steps, tools, and outputs. So if we were to come back over here and look over here, you're going to go put in some kind of input. You're going to have steps and processes and even tools, which is like MCP servers or API keys. And then because of that, you're going to have your output, where with prompts, it was just you put in a request and then you get some kind of output. And so now that you understand what a skill is, let's go get you set up so that you can run this properly. So in order to do this, you are going to want to get a Claude account. You can get a Claude account for free. And then I would recommend that you get the Pro plan, because that's going to give you access into Claude Code, and that will allow you to do all the things that I'm going to show you today. Now, do not worry, you don't have to be a coder to do what we're doing today, but you do want to be able to have access to Claude Code to be able to run the skills. And so go ahead and download Claude and then go sign up for that Pro plan. And then I'm going to be using a IDE called Cursor. And now all this means is we're going to be using Claude Code inside of Cursor so that we can go set up this skill and be able to get it running. So you can go use Cursor, you can use Anti-Gravity, you could use VS Code, or you can just use the Claude desktop app. But make sure that you go sign up for a Claude account, go get some kind of IDE to work in, and then we'll come right back in this video. So now that you got that set up, you can see right here on this left-hand side, this is my project, and this is actually where I've been running all of my different social media skills. So you can see here, for short form, I have been generating TikTok ideas and scripts almost every single day. Just recently, I have been doing things for my school account, for my school community, and then I've also done things like my YouTubes and planning out ideas there, and then I have also done things like written content like LinkedIn that helps me do all of that content here. So this is really what I'm using right now, and what I'm going to show you is how to go set up a new skill, and we're going to be doing it for Substack today to be able to go automate and help me come up with social media content so I could be more consistent online. Now, before you even jump in to start building out anything, you are going to want to pick the channel you're going to want to use, and you are going to want to pick your niche. So for me today, I'm going to be doing Substack because I already have it for TikTok, LinkedIn, and for my school community. And so I want to expand my social media a little bit and start posting on Substack. So you're going to want to pick on Substack. And then for me, I do AI education, and I teach people how to use AI, and I comment on different AI news pieces. So that's going to be my niche. So for you, go think about, what are you wanting to post? Are you wanting to post about your business, your lifestyle? What is it that you're wanting to put out into the world and the content that you're wanting to create? And then where are you wanting to create it? This is going to be a huge first step in getting started in building out this skill. And then that will push us to going into plan 2 or step 2, which is going to actually be building out the skill. Okay, so now that you have the social media channel that you're going to use in your niche, what I'm going to do over here is I'm just going to go open up Claude, and I'm going to do a new session. And if you don't have this, if you're using Anti-Gravity, or if you are using Claude Code or Cursor, you can just come over to this box right here. It's going to be the extensions, and then you can just type in Claude, and you're going to see right here, Claude for VS Code, and then you can install that to start using it just like I did here. So this is just Claude Code, but it's inside of a IDE. And the reason that I like this is because I can see all of my files over here on the side. Now, because we have this open, you can see it looks just like normal. So what I want to do first is I want to come in here and I want to click on plus, let's see, automatically, and we want to come right here into plan mode. Now, that's because we are wanting to plan with Claude first so that we can set up this skill properly. So go ahead and go into plan mode, and then I'm just going to say something like, hey, I am wanting to build out another skill. So right now I have like my TikTok skill, I have my LinkedIn skill, and I am wanting to build out a Substack skill. I want to be a little bit more relevant on Substack. I'm wanting to build one first, I think, just for my everyday posting on Substack. So let's not worry about the newsletter right now. This is more just like the daily consistent posts. In order to do this, I think what I need help with is understanding what content does well on Substack. Does any kind of visual do well on Substack? And if so, what kind of visuals? And then from there, we can start to plan out how we can actually start to build out good content using this Claude skill. So can you just help me start off with that? And so I'm going to go ahead and put this in. And again, you want to be in plan mode so that you can have this conversation back and forth with Claude. And what we're looking for right now is getting an idea of what the research would tell us does well on those platforms. Because, for example, what works on TikTok might be dramatically different than LinkedIn. And in fact, I've actually seen this firsthand where I've tried to just post something from TikTok to LinkedIn and it did not perform well. And so I asked, what does well on LinkedIn and what does do on TikTok? That way we can be going. So it says right here, so good call starting with research before building. And also, I just want you to know you can go build this out for anything. So if it's Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, LinkedIn, any of your choice, go pick the content you want to build out and you're going to follow a very similar process. So it says right here, daily posting on Substack actually means, okay, so there's notes and then there's posts. Okay, so assuming notes is the target, here's what's working on the platform right now. So format-wise, the winners are text-only and contrarian takes, so 50 to 300 words, one idea, sharp POV, and conversational. This is the bread and butter. Screenshots, by far the strongest visual format. Screenshots of your own published posts, other people's that you are taking to, DMs, analytics, AI tool outputs, code results, awesome personal photos, restacks with commentary, mini threads, and then what underperforms, heavily designed branded graphics, pure hype and hot takes, cross-posted IG-style image quotes, and memes with no original effect. So what this means to the skill. A Substack note skill is closer to your LinkedIn skill than your TikTok skill. Text first, lower visual production load, daily cadence, possibly Blotato scheduled. Okay, great. So it says, which Substack surface should we get for this skill? So we're going to do notes only. That's great for right now. I would like to do, let's see, 3 to 5 ready posts. That's great. And then let's see, how should the skill handle visuals? Text first, suggested screenshots when relevant. Always pair every note with a visual or text only, no visual logic. So we're going to do this one. And then where should your idea sourcing come from? I think existing TikTok, LinkedIn content. Let's see, AI news, that's great. Top Substack creators in the AI business space, or original thoughts. I think all of those are really good. So what we're doing right here and why the plan mode is so powerful is it's going to let you actually come up with that skill with Claude so that you're not just going to go off and let it do its thing or just go make something that you're unaware of. You're actually planning back and forth as if you were to hire a consultant that's going to come in and help you do your social media planning. And so right here, you can see, okay, locked in. Let me peek. Let's see. Let me peek at your existing skills. This won't matter for you. I already have these in place in this project folder, so it's just going to go try to learn from itself so that it's not having to do extra work. But in your case, it's going to just go through and it's going to work just fine. There should be no problems there. And so I'm going to just go ahead and let this cook for just a second. And once it's done, we can come back and we can continue building out the skill. Okay, so what's going to happen next is it's going to say that it's finished and it's going to go build out a plan. So it's going to open up another tab just like this. And you're going to want to go through the plan and just make sure that it's good to go. So Braden wants to grow his Substack. What looks good? Decisions, locked, notes only, 3 to 5 fully draft, text first, idea sources, AI news, repurpose his own, top Substack creators in the AI business space, original thoughts. Skill Ask Braden's for stories, clients, wins, and lessons. Substack native voice adjustments versus LinkedIn, TikTok. The skill must encode these so the output reads native. So this is great. This is where it's going to live and all these kind of things. So what I would heavily recommend is remember the AI works for you. You don't work for the AI. So what I would come and do is just do no keep planning. And that's going to make it so it doesn't go implement anything yet and just go and go ask some questions or go give it some further guidance. So for me, I'm going to come in here and I'm going to just prompt it and say, hey, this looks really good. I like the plan that you have so far. I just want to make sure a couple of things. I am wanting you to interview me because I genuinely want us, to have the best chance at being authentic and also really sharing my genuine perception because, right now in my TikTok folder, my short short form content folder. It's a lot about like what's hyped right now, what's out there right now, where I feel like Substack's a little bit more of like a thought leadership platform. And so I want to make sure that like we are genuinely creating a skill, not around, what's working already for us in our other platforms, but genuinely what specifically works good for Substack. In that, I really want to make sure there's an interview portion. I really want to know, what's already working on Substack that some other AI influencers and AI educators are posting. And then I want to just make sure that it's authentic and real. That way it gives us the best chance of building out an audience while still staying within our brand and staying ourselves. Can you just go through the plan and make sure that that's updated? And please feel free to ask me any questions until you're 95% certain you're building exactly what I'm wanting. And it's totally okay to have some back and forth with the AI because we don't want it to just go off and create something that's not helpful for us. So the more that we can kind of plan out and go into this planning phase, the better off we're going to be. So right here, you can even see it caught itself. That's a real reframe, and I hear you. The shift is Substack is thought leadership, not the hype loop. The plan as written leans too hard on news and cross-platform recycling, which makes the notes feel like LinkedIn leftovers. Let me sharpen this before rewriting. A few things I need to nail down to get this right. So you see, if I didn't call out the AI skill, we would have been stuck and we wouldn't have caught this. Like we would have just been reposting, regurgitated LinkedIn posts, which we could have had some success with, but I really want to make sure that this is catered to LinkedIn. How heavy should the interview portion be? A deep weekly interview, lighter daily prompts. I just want to do a full interview every run. I think that's great. How should the source mix a shift feel Substack native, not recycled? Interview plus peer review research are primary. News plus repurpose are secondary. I'm just going to go say right here, I want to do other. And I just say, I want to do whatever is going to help stay authentic to Substack. I don't need to repurpose for Substack. I'm happy to get asked questions that help us see the best results on that specific platform. So I'm just going to send that in there. Okay, which AI Substack creators should seed the research? Suggest a starting roster and I'll edit. So this is great. And then where does the thought leadership actually live for you? What makes a note authentically yours? I would say frontline observations, mentor style framework, contrarian takes on AI hype, and personal evolution. I think all of those sound really, really good. So what we're doing right now is we're just questioning it like, hey, is this really good for Substack? Is this really what we're wanting to create? Are you creating this in the way that I think that you're creating it? And it's going back and forth, and this is really only going to take a few minutes. And so I'm just going to continue to go back and forth with this specific skill. I'm going to encourage you to pause the video and go do the same thing. And then once it's all done and ready to go, let's come back together and let's finish this off. Okay, so real quick, I just want to check in. I went ahead and gave me a new plan as we went back and forth a little bit and really finalized what I want the skill to look like. And then I said approve. So go ahead and build out the skill, build out the plan. And it's giving me a to-do list right here. So it's going and reading everything and how we've structured it. If it's your first time, then it's just going to go do this for you. And then it's going to go build out all the necessary folders on the side. So that's the reason that I like using like VS Code or using cursors, because it's going to keep everything organized and we can always come back to it because everything is nice and clean in all these different folders. And so it's going to give you that to-do list. It's going to start building that. And then after it's done, we'll come back together and actually test it. So just to recap real quick, this is exactly what we did in step 3 is we went and we turned the plan into a repeatable skill. And then we wrote clear instructions and prompts. So we went back and forth and said, this is what we're looking for. This is what we want to create. And what we're wanting to do is make it easy to run every single time. So for me, I said, hey, you're going to start off with an interview. Ask me questions that will relate to these different topics. Go see what's working with some of my competitors. And then based off of all of that data, help me come up with some Substack posts. And this is going to make it so that I just have to log in and say, hey, start. It's going to ask me some questions. I respond, and then it's going to curate those posts for me. So that's exactly what it looks like building out a skill and how to make it genuinely the most useful for you. Okay, so finished building this out, and real quick, all I did here at the very end is it said, okay, it's done. Go run this to be able to go run the actual skill. So we'll do that here in a second. But then I just wanted to take it a step further, and I just said, is there any MCP or connector that I could use to post this for me? Now, for some context, I typically use this tool called Blotato, and it even mentions it down here. Let's see. Yeah, so I said, I typically use Blotato, and Blotato, I can actually shoot the posts into Blotato, and then they have a scheduler that will then go schedule it on TikTok and LinkedIn and Twitter and all of the different platforms, but Substack isn't one of those. So I was just saying, hey, is there anything that I could use to go post for me, or do I have to go post this by myself? And if I were you, I would go ask the same question, because you can use tools like GoHighLevel or social media planners or Blotato, which is an amazing tool to be able to actually go do the posting for you. So after you've generated the ideas and you've already come up with all the posts, you could say, great, go schedule these for me, and it will go schedule them for you. Unfortunately, this skill will not let me because there is no connectors for Substack. And so I'm just going to have to go copy and paste that, but that's fine because it's doing all of the hard lifting and all I have to do is copy and paste. And so let's actually go test this out now. What we're going to do is we're just going to come open up a new session, and all you have to do is it's going to tell you what to type in. So for me, it is Substack. So I'm just going to say /Substack, and you can see right over here under written, our Substack, it created a Substack folder, and it has the transcripts and stuff, and it's going to go through and actually run the skill. Now, what a skill kind of looks like is if we come over here into Claude, here is what the Substack skill looks like. So it's like this step-by-step process that it came up with every single time. Very, very different from a prompt because it has a step 1. So step 1 in this case is read the foundation. Step 2, read the post transcript. So any conversation we've had in the past, go read those. Step 3, refresh peer research. So go look at the research and see if there's anything there that anybody's posted that we should be aware of. And then step 4 is conduct the interview. Step 5 is probably going to be asking questions. So there's going to run all these questions, and it even came up with the questions that it could ask me. And then step 5 is save the transcript. And step 6 down here is, I'm assuming, is hand off to Braden with all of the different posts. So that's what's going to happen. It's dramatically different than just a prompt because it works step by step just like an employee would. So what's likely happened over here is it's going to ask us all of these different questions. So right here, what is a moment in the last few days teaching, mentoring, or working with the client that genuinely surprised you? Could be a breakthrough, a stuck point, a question they asked, or something that they're still rattling around in your head. I'm just going to say, hey, I recently just had a really cool experience with a customer that had let me know that after building a Claude skill to be able to review their analytics for their Amazon store, they were able to go from 1 to 2 per day to 4 to 5 sales per day because they're able to adjust their keywords and their ad strategy with Amazon. And it was because they just learned how to use a skill in an hour, and they took the time to dedicate towards building out that skill to really work for them, that they were able to see these awesome results. And so I'm just going to go post that into Claude right here. And it's nice because you've almost created a social media manager in the sense that you don't have to think about the question. You just get to answer the questions. You just get to be interviewed, and it's going to take all of that and it's going to go put it into really awesome Substack posts. So I'm just going to continue going throughout this interview. You can go do the same, and then we can come back together and see the outcome that it gives. Now, I do want to just say, if you're building out skills for like TikTok or for YouTube or for Facebook, it may be good to go have a high research. So, hey, go look at what's already working, and then go tell me what's working and let me know what I should post that's still in my brand voice, but is like mimicking that style. And so you can really be creative with like, hey, go tell me what my competitors are doing so that I can post the same thing, or go research the news so that I can know what the latest technology is so that I can go share about that technology, or give me some ideas for, creations that I could use. If this was Instagram, you could go plug in, ChatGPT image 2.0 or Nano Banana and say, hey, based off of the post we've made, can you now actually go create the photo? So the options are truly limitless. Right here, I'm just showing you the simple skill build out, but we could really expand that skill and add on to it at any time. Like, hey, after we come up with the post, go generate the visuals. In fact, that's exactly what I've done with LinkedIn. Is it will say, hey, this looks like it could be a really good quote post. Do you want me to go generate a quote for you using ChatGPT 2.0? And I say yes, and then it builds it, and then it schedules both of them for me. So just so you know, the options are limitless when it comes to building out your skill and what it can actually do for you. Okay, so what just happened here is I want to show you, and this is what you could do for yourself. And again, I chose the interview format because that's what felt good for me for Substack. But this different thought process could be scraping other competitors. It could be looking at the freshest news for your industry. It could be asking you questions based off of what's going on in your industry. Like, you get to design it in whatever way feels authentic to you. But right here, you can see it asked me different questions, and I just like turned on my microphone on my computer and I answered all of these authentically. So, here's question 2, here's question 2, question 3, question 4. And I would just like press my microphone and answer these questions authentically. And now you can see right here what it says is that, okay, that's a wrap. 6 rich threads, plenty to draft from, saving the transcript and drafting the batch now. So not only is it going to go draft the things for me, but what it's created in this specific Substack folder is it's created the transcripts. And so here in a moment, we're going to see all of the answers stored there so it can pull from stuff moving forward. So like in a couple of weeks, it says, hey, this is your opinion that you said then. Do you still believe that? Where's your opinion adjusted? What do you think now? So it's just like this whole entire beautiful social media brain that you've been able to collect and build for you. And ultimately, that's where we come into step 4, which is test, iterate, and post. So what I'm doing right now is I'm testing the skill end to end. So is it asking me the right questions? Is it going to draft the post in the way that I want to? Is it going to fix the weak spots? Is it going to iterate? And just because you've built the skill doesn't mean that it's done. In fact, I would say the beautiful thing about skills is they're very similar to employees. It's likely not going to be right the first couple of times. It could be really close, but it's going to need that training. It's going to need that feedback. It's going to need that help as it's growing. And so go update the skill. And at any point you can say, hey, I didn't like the way that you did this. I'd like this instead. Please go update the skill. And just continue doing that from time to time until it's like fine-tuned in exactly where you want it. And that's another huge difference between a skill and a prompt. Is a prompt you have to rewrite. A skill you get to adjust, manipulate, and really enhance. Okay, so now it's done, and you can see what it's done right here is it has created the Substack notes, and then it has created the reminders, and then it's also created the interview transcript. So here's all of my answers and the questions it gave me so that it can continue to self-learn. And then here's all the Substack notes. So for example, note 1, stay the leader. So here's the exact post. So I could just come copy this right here if I wanted to. And then we can come over into Substack, which is right here. And then I can just go click on this and then go post. So a client of mine runs an Amazon store. He was doing a 1-to-1 or 1 to 2 sales a day. He'd been hiring, blah, blah, blah. He's now doing 4 to 5 sales a day. The interesting part isn't the skill. It's the moment he realized, it's actually a she realized how much power she had to do at her fingertips. So I just might want to go through and read it that way. And this is part of that testing in and reiterating and making sure that it's working correctly. And that's probably something I should have said, is clarified that it was a woman instead of a man. Okay, so now that I have adjusted that, then I can just come in here and I can click on post. And I think, can I go schedule these two? Perfect. Okay, so I'm just going to go post this one right now, but I can go post that, and then there it is. I now have a Substack post that was able to be written based off of what works well and then based off of my voice. And then I can come back into Claude right here and I can go into note 2. And so I could just go grab this one here, and then I can go copy it. I can come back into, let's see, I'm going to come into ChatGPT and just post it so I can get a different text style. I've noticed that it changes the text a little bit, but then I can come here, do post. So I've heard this exact line. I might want to just take out the spacing there, and then all the spacing is great. And then I can just go schedule it. So this one will be tomorrow, and I want it to be at 3 p.m. Save, and then schedule. And so right there, I could just go spend, the 3 or 4 minutes going and scheduling all of these Substack posts, and then I'm good for the week. And so that is the power of what we're talking about when we are building out these Claude skills to go build out your social media channel. So my challenge to you is to go open up Claude, go build out a skill and help it work with your social media. And then if you really want the extra homework or you want the extra step, go and make it so that it can go review how the posts are actually doing. Go ask it, what connector can I go get analytics from this post to be able to understand if my posts are doing well? And then from that data, go implement that data into the skill so that we can continue to improve. Because again, skills, almost anything is possible. The only thing that you need to think about is how you want to do it, how you can be innovative, and then implement. Guys, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope this video is extremely helpful. If you have any questions, go ahead and post them down below, and we will see you in the next video.